out why are they making these specific people heroes. It's like, who gets the death penalty and who gets the not death penalty.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'm Jason from ScreenFish. Very nice to meet both of you, and I'm very interested in what you guys have to say about your story, and I've loved it so far. And just to start, my first question for both of you: what interested you most about the idea of like heroism being a punishment rather than a choice? That being the main premise of the story.
It's it makes you want to know more for sure. And oh God, how do I say this? The fact that it's a punishment where like usually when you hear the word hero, you're like, oh, they saved us and stuff like that. And they saved the people, but because of the stigma of them being criminals, everybody still hates them. So it's like it really flips the idea of the meaning of the word hero on its head. And like as you see, like as you keep going on in the show, there's so many machinations, political stuff, and about how they're sentencing all these people for what sometimes you think it's like the most random crimes and stuff like that. And so you want to know more and more and more about why they choose to sentence these people.
Mm. It gives you someone to root for, because when you do know what the story is with these heroes, you know, in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, well, I want them to get their justice. I want to know what happens next. Like, is the truth going to come out? Like, it's it leaves you in such suspense every time you hear about a different character story. So, and I love underdog stories. I love having someone who has all odds against them, but you still want to root for them.
I'm very interested in the relationship dynamic between Xylo and Teoritta. It's something I've seen before, but also this is done, a little differently. This one, of course, begins with something imposed. So I just like to know, how would you describe the dynamic between them at this point of the story in the beginning, and what it's shaping up to be?
I think Teoritta just wants to be acknowledged. It's a very cute, like father-daughter almost sort of relationship. And I feel like they're starting to learn that they're not so different from each other and that they have each other and that they both want the same thing, really, and that is to help people. And I really love that. And I love seeing Xylo starting to soften a little bit. It is really sad with what happened with Sinerva and how he keeps imposing her image onto Teoritta, which is really sad. And I'm like, you want to see Teoritta be seen as her own person. And so that's why I feel like episode 6, while like it seemed like it was a breaking point between them in their relationship, seeing Sinerva again at the end and him like seeing Teoritta and then just not recognizing Teoritta for who she was really tragic. And so I just want to see them grow into each other more.
For this series, there's like this huge, I guess, power imbalance. There's a lot of power in the hands of those who decide who becomes a hero. Uh, it's very new this season. Like, there's only like a couple episodes, so I just want to know, what do you guys think the story is like questioning who gets to find justice, or?
Oh.
I feel like that's one of the things that we're trying to figure out. Why are they making these specific people heroes? It's like, who gets the death penalty and who gets the not death penalty? Why exactly did they why did they put Xylo into that situation in which he had to kill his goddess? Like, what is this whole conspiracy going on? What are they trying to do? What is the reason behind it? And yeah, like any of the people in the penal unit could have just gotten a death sentence, but why these specific people? Why would they keep them around even if they deem them dangerous or not dangerous?
Yeah, it is interesting because you'd think it'd be easier to just kill them and be done with it. So why?
Yeah, because like what's his name? The assassin serial killer. He's like, yeah, if I get the death penalty, whatever, it's totally cool. And they're like, no, 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 no death penalty for you. And he's like, what?
And that's the one time you ever see Sav like terrified.
Yeah, it's soft. Yeah.
That's true. That's the one thing he didn't want.
Yep.
Okay, amazing. Well, kind of a follow-up to a previous question, but for Teoritta, she's engineered to serve humans and fight demons, yet clearly she has like a personality. So I just want to know, how do you approach balancing those sides of her character? Is it trying to, and also I'm just wondering, is it like raising questions about what it means to like be human, or?
Yeah, it's definitely a hard balance to strike because like the way I portray her in those moments are like a lot different. Like I'm a lot more dignified. I the way I speak is a lot more formal when she's doing her like goddessy moments, and then there's the little gremlin or like flailing moments where she's very childlike and innocent, but at the same time I try to keep a little bit of that childlike innocence in all of it because she's still new to the world, and in the end she just wants to help people and be praised for it.
Is she a child though? I don't think it was ever clear.
So we try not to make her too immature like ish. So it's less child and more childlike energy, childlike innocence, the naivete. So it's just the act of her. It's that pure emotion and that discovery that I'm trying to tap into. It's just in a world that's so bleak and dark. She's just kind of like this bright ray of sunshine, who just wants to learn and be of help.
And of course, head pats.
Yes, many head pats.
Great. For Kivia, she's like moral high ground character, a very rigid sense of justice and a lot of distrust towards Xylo and the other heroes. I just want to know what makes portraying a character with such a strict moral perspective still be interesting.
I think what makes Kivia interesting is even though she has this very strict moral code, she is willing to change her mind when the evidence is laid out before her, when she sees the change, when she sees Xylo isn't this cold-hearted person who killed a goddess. Because in the first episode, she's very, very angry and furious that Xylo has come into contact with another goddess. But then she sees this softer side of him and she thinks, well, wait a minute, that doesn't really add up. I thought you were this monster, and turns out you're not. You gave Teoritta money for ice cream. Like, something's weird. So I think that is what makes her interesting, is that she is definitely a lawful good, but absolutely good in that she will change her mind as long as whatever the outcome is right. It is justice.
And for Xylo, we find out pretty early on into the season, he's labeled a criminal. He's going to be a hero, despite acting on presumably right reasons. How do you guys think that label shapes who he is? Is this like a commentary on our justice system that the story is trying to portray, or?
I mean, it's hard because you can see that there's some sort of conspiracy going on, which also makes you wonder why they made him a hero. Why they didn't just throw him out of the way and get rid of him? Like, what was their aim for doing it? Because again, they could have just given him the death penalty and then that's it, but they must have had some reason to make him a hero, which we're trying to figure out. But I mean, their system is corrupt, and it really depends on what you see as right and what you see as wrong.
Thanks so much for your time. It's been really great talking to you, and it's been really interesting seeing this new series. It kind of came up, and I actually didn't hear anything about it, and it's actually been really good. And I'm looking to continue, and I hope other viewers too as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.